Good afternoon, everyone. Fellow architects, these architects, design architects, managers, admin, tech creators, and graphic designers. So, architect Tolu of Greyboulders, Toluwani of Greyboulders. So today we'll be talking about a presentation as a design tool. What does it mean? We're talking about how basically we arrange our presentations. Everybody sees presentations as like, okay, so when we're done with the main design, we just arrange something and send to the client. No, we're supposed to treat our presentations the way we treat our designs. So structure our presentations the way we structure our designs. Now, on this topic, we're going to focus in on how Gensler uses presentation to shape clients' experience. So most of the time, you may not really use your design to shape clients' experience. Maybe the way you put your presentation. Your presentation is meant to tell a story. Okay, so what is a design presentation? In architecture, a design presentation is a visual and narrative tool used to communicate ideas clearly to clients and stakeholders. Very, very explanatory. Now, why presentation matters. Client often understands the presentation before they understand the drawing. So, just like the way our studio heads will tell us, if you are dropping your presentations, your PDF presentations, wherever means you're using to put your presentations, it should tell a story. Is it site plan before floor plans? Is it sections before elevations? Do we start with 3Ds? Or just make sure that the presentation you are giving to the client is good enough for the client to be able to know what the design is all about. The importance of presentation. Number one, clarifies the design concept. We start designing the Greyboulders. We will hear boss say things like, let's start with schematics. So schematics is more like the design concept, block designs. How do we shape the design? So that's like the first one. The second one is it guides decision makings. So when we start our design, majorly on the design studio, you hear things like, make sure you put your presentations on sheets, your drawings rather on sheets before you even start working. Why? Because it helps you. It gives you a guideline to know what we are following. Number three is it translates ideas into visual forms. So our presentation as architects, as design architects, our our presentation is mainly supposed to be visually related. We should do less of text and more of bold drawings and structures. It enhances communications with stakeholders, just like I said in the beginning. Now, what is Gensler? That's what we're focusing on today. Gensler is the world's largest architecture, design, and planning firm. Key facts: founded in 1965, founder is Otto Gensler Jr., headquarters San Francisco. They have so many offices worldwide, over 6,000 professionals working globally. Gensler designs, what does Gensler design do? This is what they do. Gensler designs Gensler designs the built environment, including architecture, interior, urban planning, workplace strategy, retail, hospitality, etc. What makes Gensler designs different? Design plus strategy, they combine design with research, business strategy, and user experience. Human-centered approach focus on how spaces affect people, performance, and culture. Research-driven, Gensler publishes influential research, e.g., workplace performance and surveys. Collaborative cultures, emphasis on teamwork, storytelling, and presentation as a design tool. That is what they are majorly known for. How their presentation can tell a story. They don't need to be there for their presentation to speak to their clients. Just like the head of the studio always tell me, if you are an overly introverted person, at least your designs, your presentation shouldn't be introvert. It shouldn't be introvertly related. Often referred to architecture and interior design schools, known for strong presentation standards, clear diagram, and narrative-driven designs. Gensler's approach. Gensler treats presentation as part of the design process, not as an afterthought. Like I said, your design, your presentation should carry the same structure, the same mindset as you put on your design. The way we work on facades is the same energy you use and you work on your presentation. The way we work on sections, the way we take our time to detail, we should also take the same time to detail our presentation. Presentation as a design. Against that, this is just a summary. Presentation reflects design quality. So it means that whatever we've done on the studio, whether we are designing floor plans, whatever it is, but if our presentation is not dropped properly, is not structured properly, it will not make sense to the client or stakeholders. Same care as drawing as model. Presentation reflects design quality. You put the same care you put in your drawings and models on your presentation. Every slide should have a purpose. Whether it's a floor plan slide, whether it's a 3D slide, we are also the way you are putting your presentation should tell a story to the client. Key elements of effective presentations: clear structure, strong visual, minimal text, logical flow. Clear structure. It should be very, very bold. We're supposed to have, okay, is it 3-bedroom flats we're working about? Is it block of flats? Is it terrace? It should be clear to the client. Strong visuals. We should have bold designs. Something that the client doesn't need to really think about before he sees what his design is really talking about. Minimal text. We're architects. We shouldn't be really working with text. Our drawings should show what we intend to do with the design. If you have to number something on your design and you have an image or something you can use to represent it as a drawing, it should be put in place. Then logical flow. According to our studio head, let it make sense. Presentation as an extension of design. Also still talking with Gensler. Layout reflects spatial thinking. Typography shows professionalism. White space improves priority. Visual hierarchy guides attention. The presentation reflects the quality of the design. Yet again, how presentation as a tool improves Greyboulders. Number one, it treats presentation as a design output. So whatever we've done, like we do here, we always compile. So your work can be very good on Revit, on 3D Max, but how does it look like as a presentation? It avoid overcrowded slides. If you take your presentation very, very good, you are not meant to have maybe overly two-dimension floor plans or the areas that are not even being dimensioned. Sometimes your floor plans can be so busy that there is even no function about it. Focus on clarity and not complexity. We shouldn't have lines and drawings all over the place, which is not saying anything. Every number, every line, every dimension, every wall should be saying something. Let visual do most of the talking. Just as I said in the beginning, if you're an introverted person, your PDF will speak for you. How Greyboulders uses presentation as a design tool. This is an FRS project FRS. This is the what's it called? Play. Sorry, can somebody help me? That recreational center. Yes. So I like the way it's actually done. It's actually a new project. We can see that this is a 2D light presentation. Also gives us a rendering representation and gives us a detailed presentation. You don't need to carry this and start talking much to the client. This is a bridge. How does the bridge work? We have details. How will it look like? It looks like this. Same goes as this. This is the analysis. Now we're going to be talking about different styles. How can we actually make presentation a design tool? Number one, conceptual and a visionary style. I'm going to give 5 styles so we can implement these 5 in our design. I think we'll become better architects in Greyboulders. Conceptual and visionary style. The purpose of this is to communicate the idea and design intent best for early client meetings, e.g. schematics. Characteristics. loose hand sketches, pen, pencil, marker. In other words, still schematics because we're using Revit. Diagrammatic plans and sections. Abstract massing models, like I can see. We do it very much here in Greyboulders. Minimal text, strong concept diagrams. Soft colors, monochrome palettes on conceptual and visionary style. Number two, diagrammatic and analytic style. Purpose of this, it explains design logic and decision. Best for clients who wants to understand why. The first one says for early meetings. So we've told the client that this is what we want to do. The diagrammatic analytical style now will tell the client why we are doing what we want to do. Characteristics, zoning diagrams. Why are we keeping the building at this side of the site? Why are we keeping this house here? Why are we following here to enter the road? Just like now, we're supposed to change the basement parking from the left side towards the center of the building. Why? Those are the questions we'll ask. Circulation, some parts, wind, view diagrams. Colored coded plans and sections, simple axonometric diagrams. Axonometric diagrams in the sense that turning 3Ds to 2Ds. What we can see in 3D, how can it be represented in 2Ds? What we can see in 2Ds, how can it be represented in 3Ds? What did the client give away? This design makes sense. After we finish following the pattern and the characteristics of how we run the analytic design. Number three, minimalist, clean, professional style. The purpose of this is to present a refined, high-end design, best for cooperative, commercial, luxury, residential clients. Characteristics, clean line drawings. Now, this is what we're saying to pay attention to our work. White backgrounds. White gives clarity. Limited color palette, black, gray, earth tones. You see the way we even do our grid lines, we know we turn it half tones, our furniture's half tones. Why? So that we can express our floor plans. Also, the client having a visual of how the spacing and the interior would look like. Elegant typography. We have a certain standard of text, font, size that we use for our projects. Balanced composition and to balance negative spaces. What is the client takeaway after the minimalist professional style? This feels professional and premium. Number four, realistic, photorealistic style. The purpose helps clients visualize the final result, best for non-technical or first-time clients. I would like to use one of our projects, Cado 27. Very, very nice, very, very attractive photorealistic render. Characteristics, photorealistic 3D renders, just like this one. Real lighting materials and shadows. Every shadow tells a story. Everything here looks like as if it's taken from an actual building picture. It's as if you just went somewhere and took the building picture. Why? Some parts on the right direction, the trees on the right direction, shadows, it just faces the right direction. This will make sense to the client. Conceptual surroundings with people, trees, and cars. Like you can see on the render, interior and exterior perspective. What's the client give away after this? I can imagine myself in this space. Like our head in the studio will tell us when you finish your design, can you live in this space? So if you can, let's submit it. If you can't, we do another facade. The last but not the least, narrative and storytelling style. Purpose, walk the client through the experience. Best for large projects or phase development like NAWL. Characteristics, step-by-step layout, concept design, experience, sequential diagrams, user-friendly visuals, before and after comparison. Everything on this style should make sense to the client because this is how the client will now perceive his design. This is how you can use to convince your client that, okay, this design not just work best because of his budget, but it works best because it's the best. What's the client takeaway after this? I understand the journey of this project. Pro tips for client presentation that you always ask yourself. This one was an AI generated pro tips. What does clients care about the most? Number one, vision, the concept of your design. Number two, understanding, diagrams. How does the client perceive your design? Number three, confidence, technical. If you cannot speak about your project, your presentation should speak about your project. Your presentation is meant to bring forth confidence. Number three, emotions and render. This already, without looking at the floor plan. If the client imagines whatever site is giving you, whatever land space, and he knows that this can be on that land space, you already have this work above 80%. Enhancing presentation at Greyboulders. Make proposal more experiential, not just our drawings, not just on Revit, not just on 3D Max. How do you arrange your slides? How do you arrange your PDF? What comes first? Is it floor plans? Is it sections? But make sure that client is able to walk through your project. Walk clients through the design journey, like I just said. Use storytelling, not technical overload. All these are for the site's expertise, but for the client, your design is meant to tell a story. The last one, ensure every slide has a purpose. Why this is important? We treat presentation as a design output. Renders are not the final output of presentation, but the final output of a design, but presentations are the final output of a design. We have beautiful renders, but how can we set them up to make sense to who we are giving these designs to? Avoid overcrowded slides. Everything shouldn't be too much and too plenty in the faces of the client or the stakeholders. Everything is meant to make sense, step by step. Focus on clarity and not complexity. Let visual do most of the talking. We are architects. Everything is supposed to have a presentation. In conclusion, a strong presentation does not just explain the design, it sells the vision. Design the presentation the same way you design your build.